And now politics. A former spokesperson of the New Nigeria People's Party, Musa Nuhu Yankaba, has said that the former Kano State governor, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and the incumbent governor, Abba Yusuf, do not belong to the authentic NNPP. Yankaba asserted that the faction using the fruit logo represents the original NNPP. He disclosed that Kwankwaso recently led a group within the party to change its logo to a book symbol, a move he described as illegitimate. He also referred to a ruling by an Abia State court on November 1st, 2024, which recognizes Boniface's faction as the legitimate leadership of the NNPP. And now to react to this, we are joined by the National Publicity Secretary of NNPP, Ladipo Johnson. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, sir. So, let's start by asking your thoughts on the comments by your party's former spokesperson that former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso and the incumbent Governor Abba Yusuf do not belong to the authentic NNPP. Your take?
Well, unfortunately, it would seem that the gentleman is living in dreamland. The party, the first thing is that people, members of the public, the press, can go to the INEC portal, if you do not want to go to INEC, and find out the logo of the New Nigeria People's Party, the chairman, the secretary, and some of the officers, the address of the headquarters of the party. So there's no argument there. They have remained recalcitrant, they are being obtuse. In fact, I honestly believe that they are working for members of the opposition just to try to destabilize the NNPP. They referred to, in your intro, you referred to an Abia State ruling. That ruling was given on a day where the court was purportedly meant to be on strike by the junior judicial service staff. Now, we have read the ruling. It runs contrary to an existing judgment of Honorable Justice Wite of the Federal High Court, Abuja. And it is clear from what they presented before the court in a corner of Abia State, not even the main city, what they went to present before him. They didn't tell the judge that they already had a judgment that had thrown them out that said they were not members of the party. So you see, INEC has ignored these things because INEC know what is going on. They were there when all the NEC meetings and conventions took place. They have all the minutes. So there is no problem. And recently, just last week, there was another injunction by High Court in the FCT, restraining them from using the name NNPP or from parading themselves or holding congresses or conventions. So this is the situation. But they go to the press and they say all sorts. But I say all publicity is good. If it were not for them saying this, you wouldn't be talking to me tonight.
Oh, that's one way to look at it.
Keep telling.
Keep telling the position of things. Is it safe to say now, however, that there are factions within the NNPP?
No, I always say no to that. You know why? The reason is if you check the dictionary, the faction is a smaller part or a part of one big thing. They are not members. They are not. They say Kwankwaso has been expelled, the governor has been expelled. Fine, thanks for expelling him. There is no party in Nigeria at the present moment called NNPP that has a logo of a basket of fruits. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
So they're not within the party. They're outside of the party. When the suspensions happened, they failed to do what they should have done. The Constitution is clear. They didn't do that. Some went to court and they were thrown out because the Constitution says go and finish the internal proceedings, procedures in your party to get redress. And then, unfortunately, they were expelled later. So when you look at all these things, it's just simple. So they're outside of the fence, throwing stones and saying all sorts. All you need to do is to look at the last few off-cycle elections, and you will see that it has been the red and white education logo. Mm-hmm. That is the new NNPP logo.
So, Mr. Johnson said
April 2024.
So, does the NNPP plan to take any specific action or steps to address the fallout from the statements about Kwankwaso and Abba? Are there plans for any official statements or actions?
We don't need to do anything except for the fact that there's a nuisance value that they have, or they constitute a nuisance. And that is why the recent case was filed, and we have an interim injunction there, and they are expected to turn up, I believe, on the 27th is the return date by the High Court of Abuja. When they return on the 27th, they will argue the motion for interlocutory injunction. If they don't, we will move our motion, and if the ex parte has been granted, I'm sure if the judge continues to look at it thoroughly, the interlocutory will be granted. And we will go on to finish the case. If they don't turn up, they're meant to turn up. As for the farce that they played in Abia, we have gone and we filed papers to set it aside because it's a judgment, the sort of judgment that could be set aside. They went and it was given par incuriam. That means all the facts were not before the judge. There was a mistake. So we go to Abia, but there's still a strike on in Abia to set it aside. Now, ordinarily, we would have, even though we know that the Abia judgment was gotten par incuriam, we would have followed it, but it runs contrary to a subsisting judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja, Honorable Justice Wite, which I said. Okay, and they haven't, I think they filed an appeal, they haven't finished, they haven't followed the process, you understand? Then they went to institute another one.
Barrister Johnson,
some corner of Abia.
Barrister Ladipo Johnson, well, we'd like to draw the curtain here on this conversation, but thank you very much for being here with us on the news this evening to give us your expert opinion and, of course, representing your party. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.